Florence did not begin with spectacle. It began with order, with stillness, with attention. In the early Renaissance, artists and architects were not trying to overwhelm the world. They were trying to understand it, to measure it, to align with it, to discover the principles that made beauty endure. And in understanding it, they reshaped it. Not through noise, not through excess, but through discipline. Let's begin in a quiet monastery. Painted around 1440 directly onto wet plaster, Fra Angelico's Annunciation offers no drama, no spectacle, no theatrical gesture, only stillness and light. The angel bows. Mary listens. The space between them is not empty. It is alive with attention. Because fresco allows no revision, no correction once the plaster dries, each section had to be completed before the day ended. Every stroke had to be intentional, every decision permanent. Fra Angelico believed beauty was obedience, something offered, not performed, something faithful, even if no one applauded it, something done carefully because God would see it, whether anyone else did or not. This is not art that overwhelms you. It invites you. It asks something harder, to slow down, to become quiet enough to notice what is already there. But Florence was not only a city of contemplation. It was a city of ambition, and ambition needed structure. Florence wanted a cathedral worthy of heaven, but no one knew how the dome could stand. The span was unprecedented, the techniques untested, the risk enormous. There was no blueprint, no scaffolding stretching into the sky. So in 1420, Filippo Brunelleschi did the unexpected. He designed the dome as two shells locked together by ribs, laying bricks in a herringbone pattern, so the structure supported itself as it rose. It was a solution born not of bravado, but of calculation. Trust in geometry, trust in proportion, trust in patient reasoning. He trusted laws he did not invent. If the structure was true, it would hold. And more than 6 centuries later, it still does. Strength here is not force. It is faithfulness to design. And sometimes strength requires distance, elevation, space to see clearly. High above Florence sits San Miniato al Monte, not because it is greater, but because it is apart. The climb itself begins the transformation. Noise fades, urgency loosens, breath deepens. Founded in 1018 as a monastery, it was built for lives shaped by rhythm, prayer, work, repetition, devotion. Inside, nothing competes. Patterns repeat, colors are restrained, forms are ordered. Every element submits to the whole. Nothing strains for attention, and slowly the eye learns steadiness, not excitement, not stimulation, clarity. The kind of clarity that forms when distraction falls away, when the soul is allowed to rest inside proportion. But Renaissance Florence was not only prayer and geometry, it was also responsibility, care, mercy made visible. In 1419, Brunelleschi designed Europe's first orphanage, l'Ospedale degli Innocenti, a home for abandoned children, the Innocents. A rhythm of arches stretches across the square, balanced, calm, humane. No soaring vaults command awe. This is civic beauty, reasoned, measured, compassionate. Above the arcade, Andrea della Robbia's blue roundels hold swaddled infants. Not decoration, but a promise made public. A declaration that mercy belongs at the center of the city. The geometry does not impress you. it steadies you. Architecture becomes protection. Beauty becomes service. But Renaissance Italy was also wrestling with eternity, with death and life, with what endures beyond stone. Painted around 1465, Piero della Francesca's Resurrection shows Christ rising, not in motion, but in stillness. One foot steps forward. The world seems suspended. Behind him, winter clings to bare trees, while spring breaks open beside him. Death and life held together in a single immovable presence. The guards sleep through the turning of history. Above the tomb, Christ stands monumental. Below, the earth bears its weight. Vertical and horizontal lines anchor the scene. Geometry restrains glory. Truth arrives without spectacle. Victory is calm, certain, unhurried, inevitable. And finally, Florence looks at itself, at the question beneath every republic: what kind of strength should define us? Cast in the 1440s, Donatello's bronze David breaks with centuries of inherited form, the first great nude statue to stand free again since ancient Rome. Commissioned by the Medici, David becomes Florence's mirror, the small city standing against greater powers. He wears a shepherd's hat, laurel crowns humility, ornate boots ground the body. The sword rests lightly. Goliath's defeat is real, but it does not dominate the scene. The severed head lies at his feet, present but not glorified. Courage appears without armor, confidence without hardness. Victory does not shout. It stands, alert, gentle, unforced. 6 works, 6 visions of strength. None of them are frantic. None of them strain. None of them rely on spectacle. Instead, they reveal something quieter. Strength can be obedient. Strength can be structured. Strength can withdraw. Strength can serve. Strength can rise calmly. Strength can remain gentle. And perhaps that is where excellence begins. Not in applause, not in urgency, not in the need to be seen.